Important points in this report concern itself with the elimination of the fee system as a method of compensation for the courts, the creation of a municipal court of composite jurisdiction to handle both municipal ordinance cases and state offenses, to create a state court administrator under the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, to improve the judicial council pattern of policy making for the courts, to create the driver license pickup plan and to require reporting of convictions by all courts, whether courts of record or courts not of record.
Authority for it is some early cases of the Criminal Court of Appeals in which they arbitrarily picked out of the air the $20 figure. There's no authority for it, federal or state. They simply said that $20 is a dividing line. It must be set someplace. We set it at $20. Some of them, there were more refusals than there were convictions. I don't know a way to explain it. They may be justified, but we have no way of knowing because there's no requirement that any reasons be given. Well, County J, for instance, there were 150 refusals, 117 convictions. Courtrooms in most of these city courts were rudimentary. Some places they were held in the chief's office. Some places they were held in a room without any furniture in it or just a bare table. A person hailed into a court of that kind for a trial to have his day in court certainly couldn't think much of his administration of justice at that particular level. There is no requirement for reporting of convictions to the driver licensing people, the Department of Public Safety, except by courts of record. Now, I've listed in here the one court of record, and that's at Tulsa in the city courts. None of the justices of the peace are courts of record.
And duties. Hold that they did not have the authority to issue it.
I haven't necessarily wanted to remain quiet in this race. It just boils down to this one factual point. I have not had the money to put on a campaign such as the other candidates have had because I have refused emphatically to accept any money in which there has been any strings attached to whatsoever or any kickback to the individuals contributing. For some unknown reason, I can't believe that the oil companies, the major construction companies in this state will voluntarily contribute from $10,000 to $50,000 to anyone's campaign just because they like that particular individual. I don't feel that we need a constitutional highway commission in Oklahoma for the simple reason that if it is set up now, it'll be set up under a Democratic Party system with the people who have assisted the governor in his campaign if he is elected. There's nothing wrong with the highway commission system that we have in Oklahoma at the present time. The only difficulty we've had, of course, is finding qualified people, and there have been a lot of them, but some of them haven't been so qualified to fulfill their responsibilities to the tax-paying public.
You mentioned the tax-paying public. Do you think that the state is adequately financed? Do you think we're going to have some more taxes?
I do not believe that it's necessary to raise taxes in Oklahoma. I made this statement yesterday in Tulsa, and I would like to reiterate today that with the proper administrative system and the lack of graft, corruption, unnecessary spending for merchandise that we don't buy or don't receive, the useless man-hours of employees on the state payroll that we don't need, through that and eliminating that, I say that I can save the taxpayers of Oklahoma $20 million a year, or I would ask to be relieved of my responsibility as governor.
The unaccounted portion of the monies received by some of the audited justice of peace ranged downward from a high of $7,294.15, and the next highest discrepancies or balance to be accounted for were $6,900, $6,000, $3,900, $3,500, $3,300, and $3,100. 10 justice of peace counts were found in which there were no discrepancies. An examination of the nature of the discrepancies reveals that several of the justices of the peace were unfamiliar with the financial requirements for holding the office. To illustrate, it was reported that some of the justices of peace suspended fines without authority, did not assess statutory county fees, did not identify money collected, assessed fines lower than the statutory minimum, accepted hot checks. This is what the auditor said.
We have always been interested in having law degrees as a requirement, but as a practical matter, considering the fact that out over the state that they have difficulties finding county judges, that they have to rotate their county attorney's job among the lawyers as a part of their civic duty, we think it's impractical to make a hard and fast rule that a justice of peace have a law degree. However, in our last convention, the Justice of Peace and Constable Association, we voted to recommend to the legislature that a justice of peace qualification should be either a practicing attorney or that he should have 2 years' experience. We think it's desirable that they all should have the law degree, but it's not practical.
And the municipal court's proposal?
I'm not thoroughly familiar with this, but as I understand it, they want to organize a municipal court in all cities over 5,000 population. I see no reason for making this change because the justice courts are already set up with adequate provision for jurors, and I'd say if we could raise the jurors' compensation to justify calling them, the justice peace could handle it without setting up the new courts.